So today's last two films might be my last films for a while because I am heading out to the TCM Classic Film Festival on Tuesday, and I'm going to be in LA for quite a while. So I don't know if I'm watching any new to me movies for a while. So this is where I'm at, probably for the end of April. And both the films I watched tonight were by Rebecca Miller. I really enjoyed her film Maggie's Plan in 2016, and so I hadn't seen any of her other films, so seeing these were great. I remember when the Ballad of Jack and Rose came out because I was in college, and I remember seeing the trailers a bunch of times, but somehow I just didn't have the money to go see it when it came out. That was my freshman year of college. I was poor. Um, that's so both these films are on Filmstruck on the Criterion Channel on Filmstruck right now, and the Ballad of Jack and Rose came out in 2005, and it stars Daniel Day-Lewis, who is Rebecca Miller's husband, um, Camilla, Belle, and Catherine Keener. Daniel Day-Lewis is sort of a relatively well-off slash rich ex-hippie with a heart ailment who lives on an ex-commune island in the middle of nowhere on the East Coast with his daughter, whom he's raised and who he has kept um, out of uh, society for the bulk of her life. She is starting to hit puberty, and he has noticed that she needs a little more guidance than he's able to give. So he decides to bring his new girlfriend, played by Catherine Keener, to live with them. She has two teenage daughters, played by Paul Dano and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, Ryan McDonald. This causes some issues, obviously, in their family dynamic. Around all of this, there's also some development happening on the land around him, and the developer is played by Beau Bridges. You also have some supporting roles from Jason Lee and Jenna Malone, and essentially, this is a film about the perils of parenting, the anxiety of adolescence, and I think kind of a harsh takedown of the patriarchy and why raising people um, in a very male, masculine way is not great, and that male hubris sometimes, often, can bring down society. I think I think that's what's happening here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what is sort of the underlying themes here. Everyone is great. It's so beautifully shot. It made me very uncomfortable in moments, and I think that was very purposeful. And I liked that Daniel Day-Lewis didn't outshine anybody. Everyone was able to sort of be great. And sometimes when you have Daniel Day-Lewis in a movie, he just overshadows everyone else because he's so much. And I think Miller really got him to sort of tone himself down a bit in order for everyone to shine. That said, I was slightly disappointed with Camilla Belle. She wasn't as strong, I think, as anyone else in the film. Everyone else is just really hit it out of the park. So I enjoyed this film, but the one I watched second, I really, really, really dug, and this was her debut film, Angela. It's from 1995, and it stars what are their names? Miranda Ryan and Charlotte Blythe as two sisters. Angela's 10, her sister Ellie is 6. They have just moved into a new town with their parents, played by Anna Thompson and John Ventimiglia. Their mother is suffering from bipolar disorder and is in the midst of having a breakdown. Their father is very devoted to both them and his wife, but he's doing the best he can in the situation he's at. Angela has recently discovered religion and has decided that she needs to purify her and her sister in order to heal their mother. She also starts seeing visions of Lucifer, played by Peter Facinelli in his screen debut, and other strange things, as well as this film includes Vincent Gallo as a preacher who is baptizing people in a river at one point. All kinds of crazy stuff happens in this film. And the mother character at one point is very much styled to look like Marilyn Monroe towards the end of Marilyn Monroe's life. And I find this very crazy because Rebecca Miller's mother is Inga Morath, and Rebecca Miller's father is Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller was married to Marilyn Monroe. He met Inga Morath when she was filming or photographing Marilyn Monroe on the set of The Misfits, the film that he wrote for her. Shortly after his divorce from Marilyn, he married Inga Morath and they had Rebecca Miller. I don't know what this says about her. I don't know what this says about her relationship with the loomingness that was Marilyn. I'm sure in the life of her father and her mother, but I have so many questions about what all of this means. So many questions. The film is part magical realism, but mostly, I think, a really insightful look at the way in which children blame themselves for the behavior of their parents. Children don't always understand what's happening, but they are alive and they understand the weighty nature of things without realizing that they know what they're understanding. And so children can be very serious, I think is what I'm trying to say. And in this case, she's very serious about trying to fix her mother without realizing what mental illness is because no one's talked to her about it. And so she feels guilt, but she also feels, especially the younger sister, feels sort of unloved. And unfortunately, no one's able to explain to them that the mother probably does truly love them. She's just having a hard time dealing with her own mental capabilities at this moment. And I feel like I have so many questions, but I feel like it's a really true portrait of what it's like to be a young girl who is in a family that's unstable and who is dealing with mental illness without anyone talking to her about what mental illness means and what it is and how to fully function in a life like that. It has a very bleak feel to it, but it also, there are moments of levity, and I think that's because children are can go to dark places, but they can also go to very light places, and the way that Miller balances that with the characters is really beautiful. It's just a very strange film. I recommend definitely checking both of these films out, but Angela is just not like anything else you're going to see. So these are both written and directed by Rebecca Miller. They're on the Criterion Channel on Filmstruck right now, and I highly recommend seeing them both. And this Angela was my 52nd film directed by a woman this year, so I've already hit that goal. I'm going to at least loop it once, maybe twice. I'm trying to keep a 50-50 ratio this year because if I could do 100% in 2015, I can do 50-50 in 2018. So have a good night, and I'll see you at some point in May.